What motivates you to make this scarf, Christy?
I don't know. Girl, I can't.
Just be natural. Talk.
Don't worry, we're not gonna show this today.
I don't know, I look like I messed something up.
I think you just pulled it and it looked weird to you because this loop is a different size.
Yeah, I thought, okay. Thank you.
Yeah, what's up? You ready?
Ready.
You ready? So, Koichi, interview Andrea with what she's doing.
Alright. Hello, Andrea.
I believe that cameras steal your soul.
How are you today?
And actually, one of our neighbors, a girl that was about my age at the time, was making a hat. And of course, you know, me being young, curious, went over and said, "Hey, what are you making?" And so she started showing me how to crochet. So from there, it just kind of eventually grew into
My first experience with crochet was making headbands. I made a lot of headbands. I made like really wide ones that went over your ears to keep you warm. Because Detroit winters are cold and no one needs to have exposed ears in Detroit winters. At the time when I started learning, my little cousin was about to be born. So we started making baby blankets for him. And that's what started the obsession.
Cool, cool.
When I started this organization, I knew that there was something missing on campus. Not so much that there was something missing, but just something more that I felt like could be added to the experience, that there was a space for other organizations that might not have been so centered around a particular event or centered around a lot of, I don't want to say hype, but I don't know. And I mean, it was a kind of strange idea. I mean, it's not the first thing you think about people doing on campus, starting a knitting club or a crochet club, but I just had this desire to create an organization or just a place for people who are interested in arts and culture and other things that I'm kind of interested in, and it can be kind of hard to find other people like that. And last fall, when I started the organization, I'm a STEM major, so I'm very busy. And I kind of didn't want to approach this organization I had envisioned in my head by going on a campaign or starting multiple things at once. So I said to myself, okay, I'm just going to start the knitting part of this organization now, maybe find other people with similar interests, see how it goes. I thought it would be a nice, more concentrated way to like test out some of the ideas that I had. And I knew that it was pretty against the grain, or I don't want to say against the grain, but just not what most people think of as conventional. So I said to myself, even if it's just me and 2 other people that I know who actually do this, it's gonna happen. I'm gonna put up flyers, I'm gonna print them out, and we're gonna see what happens. There were at least 20 people who came.
Just to see that much of an interest in something that a whole lot of people would kind of write off or not really consider. So that was really heartening. Since I'm the type of person who really loves to make things with my hands, I kind of had this idea that everybody else would be kind of interested in the idea of making their own knitting needles from chopsticks or pencils, and that didn't turn out too well because not everybody is as comfortable with sandpaper as I am, evidently, so I ended up making a lot of pairs of needles in one. And luckily, you know, there were people there from the very first meeting we had. We had another girl who I just met 5 minutes ago, and she was teaching another girl how to do the first chain stitches, learning crochet, and somebody else, you know, teaching other people how to knit, because I wanted it to be very clear from the beginning, this is laid back. That's kind of how the first meeting went. It was really like heartening to see that other people had an interest that was similar to mine, and just that other people would come to something like this, because when you're putting yourself out there, holding a meeting, posting flyers all over campus, getting strange looks, you kind of don't know, you know, you're just like, you don't want to become the yarn person, basically.
One of the things is, I guess with fiber arts, so knitting, crocheting, I have kind of anxious hands. I can't keep my hands still when I'm doing anything. So it helps a lot in class. It calms me down, and I just feel like I'm concentrating more on what's being said than if I was just letting my mind wander and letting my hands fidget. I will say that I do like sewing because it's allowed me to alter clothes, make new clothes, and it's been really cool for being able to just fix things around the house. My mom taught me how to sew when I was 8 because like Build-A-Bear Workshop was big, but like we didn't have Build-A-Bear Workshop money. So what we did was like I had a bear and then we had the measurements for the bear, and so I would make outfits like with my mother, and it was a bonding activity for us.
So this is going to be a summer dress. It's taking a while, but I'm hoping that
you see the very beautiful lace detail. And why do you think you have continued to crochet?
Well, for one thing, it's a nice creative outlet. Sometimes I feel like being in STEM, a lot of the things that I do don't allow me to really like express myself all that well. This is, I don't know, I like it. It's cathartic. It's something that doesn't really require too much, I don't know. It's a very stress-free activity. It helps me unwind.
Okay, and have you done it on and off throughout high school, or was it a consistent thing, or?
No, it was on and off. It was on and off. From middle school, there was definitely a long period of time where I didn't crochet, and then I started again in high school.
I found out about it because one of my teammates, they saw it on their timeline, and they sent a screenshot to me, and they were like, look, there's a place for you. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is actually exciting. And then I called my mom. I was like, Mom, there's like a knitting and crochet club. I definitely have to go. So ever since then, it's been my favorite place to be.
But there still should be a space in our lives for creating something. And whether that's knitting or painting, I don't really have a particular bias. I'm a painter myself. And I love to draw and do studio printmaking, so I kind of like to dabble in every medium. There are a lot of other people in our club who also like to dabble in every other medium, but I think the unique thing about knitting is that you can bring it with you just about wherever you go. So wherever you go, you're able to have this peace that comes from doing something with your hands, from using all the energy that you have to channel it into something that's creative and positive instead of continually fidgeting or holding a phone. And that's the thing Stephanie Pro-McPhee says a couple of years ago, not a couple, more like 100 or 200 years ago, if you bought something you could make, that would be looked at as foolish. But nowadays, if you make something you can buy, you're looked at as foolish. So that's a really strange reversal, to go from the value being in thrift and in making things for yourself to the value being in purchasing things and acquiring different objects. But of course, these aren't all the things that we think about when we're knitting. Mostly, the most enjoyable part of knitting is really the art form. It's really the joy and the community that comes from knitting, and just the people that you meet along the way. I would definitely have to be biased and say that I think that knitters are particularly amazing people, especially the people that have come to our group. And just the thing that has amazed me the most is that I have not taught the majority of people in our organization how to knit or crochet. Many other people came to the organization already knowing how to knit, already knowing how to crochet. There are people in our organization who also sew, who also do woodwork or other type of arts, and knitting with looms also. So they came and they already knew how to do these things. They were already doing them in their spare time, but there really just wasn't a place for them, or a place where they can find other people that enjoy their hobby also, which was kind of shocking to me, because it's really weird the way things are, because you kind of think, oh, I'm kind of the only one. And for me, especially as a person, I spend a lot of time in the digital, virtual world. I spend a lot of time in front of computers, programming. I like to take that break and do something with my hands. I think there's something unique about the connection that we as human beings have when we make things with our hands or produce things from our minds. And whether or not you're following a pattern or you're improvising on a knitting project, totally up to you.
Well, the semester is over, and there are some seniors who are graduating. But the good news is, in the fall, there'll be new freshmen who'll probably join, and there'll be new projects, and there'll be new techniques. But even more importantly, there'll be more time that we have together, enjoying our craft, learning more about the art form, and learning about each other at the same time. I look forward to more hours spent with yarn at the Phelan Knitting Club.
Right. Put these two fingers down. Around. No, down over your yarn.
They have a ball center.
Over your yarn. Put your fingers over your yarn. No. There you go. Now spread your thumb and your middle finger so that you have spare yarn around. Like this? Yeah. Okay, now what you're gonna do. Now I have to do this for a second because I've never actually taught this. I'll close my eyes.
Just keep doing it.
Right.
Erica,
Got this, Eric.
Erica, just cast on for her and have her start towards.
I can't remember how to cast on.
Do the other cast on.
I don't know. I forgot that one.
Hand me it. Mother. Just stay there. It's only gonna take me a second to cast on.
Mom, see how always the last one. She listened.
Wait. Carmen, you cast on. That's right. You show them how you cast on, Carmen.
You go, Carmen.
Yeah, that's right. New knitter in the house.
Yeah.
Okay, so you can
Mom.
I'm starting.
Oh, I have to do that? Okay.
Basic.
I don't do that one.
But that's the one on YouTube.
I don't like that one. You do all of it for me?
Oh,
I remember that. Okay, yeah, just do that one then. I don't even know what she just did.
Yeah, what did you do again, Carmen?
Carmen, you need to do it for him. Bro, like show him.
No.
Come on now.
Or just set it.
No, Erica.
Like,
You do the double cast on.
yep.
Yes.
See, your hands start to remember that.
Yeah, that's what I tried to do, and then my hands
She just didn't want to teach me.
No.
No.
Sometimes if you overthink it, you don't remember.
No, you know what I did? I was trying to do it from here, and I didn't come down. And then I was like, wait a minute. And then when my hand had just dropped, I was like, ah!
Light bulb.
Hey.
This is how we cast on.
That's my name. So you could make it one of two ways. If you already know how long.
Someone's gonna have to make a pun out of all the names, like some like
Okay.
pun.
So,
Not a pun.
so you could either, if you already know how long you want it, you could chain however long this is.
I want us to make a
And
story
then
out of our next
so you chain however long.
How do you like Jabberwocky for like?
I did this way. So I knew how wide I wanted to make it, and then I just kept building it until it got to the length that I wanted. So I like doing that better because I don't like chaining like 500.
Yes. That creeped me out. I was
Yeah, like that would be a good width.
I was like, actually.